Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. All right, so many of you trade from home. This is a trading from home video series. We've got multiple videos we're talking about trading from home's tips, tricks, strategies, and trying to get the most from the environment that you've got. I know some people do trade from an office, but a lot of people out there do trade from home. And people are making a very good business from trading, working from home, but they just have to do a few tweaks and adjustments to get things to where they want to be. So in this video, we're going to talk about separating some part of your home for work and tax benefits. So I've talked about, we've done videos and go and check them out, where we talk about separating your kind of work and home life, and this is really an advantage for that. Another thing is how to avoid distractions, and again, this is an advantage for that. But there's a couple of reasons why I want to separate an area specifically at home into a work zone. So the first one is to avoid those distractions, right? Again, we're not repeating ourselves in this video, but it helps if that is your work, your office, that's it. No one comes in and bothers you, and you just get on and do what you need to do. The other one is there's a tax benefit from it. So this might be different across the world. And again, I'm not a tax advisor. So even if you're in the UK, you need to kind of ask about this. But generally speaking, you are able to utilize some part of your home office against expenses. Now, there is a caveat there. And again, you probably need to definitely need to speak to an accountant about this. You need to be careful that you are not going to get hammered for capital gains because of it's a business expense, etc., etc. So there's kind of a little strategy that you need to employ for that. But if you have got a separate area that's for work, then I believe you can make some kind of claim. If that's still the case, I'm not sure, but it's something you can look into. So separating spaces. So what sort of spaces could you use? Well, one thing you could use is a bedroom. You could say, okay, well, that's no longer a bedroom, it's now an office and it's my space. You could say, perhaps if you've got a loft, maybe you could convert it into a trading area. Another thing that I know people do is have an outbuilding. So building an outbuilding, relatively inexpensive. Well, I mean, we're not talking it's a cheap thing to do, but relatively inexpensive if you've got the land to do it, of course. And then you've got a genuine separate office, and there's probably some tax, strategies for that. Maybe you're parceling off a piece of land, and maybe you're selling that to the company. I don't know that. I mean, that's just literally coming off the top of my head, but there's possibilities there with a complete separate business use only area that maybe you can utilize it for something in business, or maybe not, maybe use it as part of the house and don't have the relief on it, or etc. But there are options there, and it's worth speaking to an accountant about that. So having a separate area, so that's something you could do as well, just go into an outbuilding. Another thing you can do is you can say, listen, if you're trading, perhaps you're in a city centre and you've got not a large place to trade, then having a desk and a table is fine, but in a lounge or whatever it may be. But if you can buy these like partitions which go up, which are literally like either a curtain partition or kind of one of those changing room partitions that go up, that create your little space, so that if you happen to be trading in a small area, and I know that people watching all over the world, and real estate's pretty expensive wherever in some of the bigger cities. But if you're trading like that, you can have that little segmented area where, hey, listen, no one bother me when I'm in this area. No one bother me when, that's that. So it still gives you that separation. So you aren't kind of bothered by the TV. You aren't bothered by, people pottering around, whether it's your family or whether it's, a partner or whatever. And then going for stuff like noise cancelling headphones, guys. I mentioned this before in other videos, but it's a great thing. You can put them on, and if you haven't got the space, you haven't got the facility to kind of be out of the way, you can at least have your little cubicle, if you like, your little space where that's your trading area. No one distracts you. You've got the separation, your separate space specifically, even if it is only a chunk. You've got your headphones on, so the sound is kind of separated, visually you're separated, then you can go in there and you can get into that frame of mind of work mode. And I think that's so key, being able to have the separate space so that you can go in to work mode as opposed to family mode or home mode or whatever it may be, because that changes the way you approach trading. It's so important. This is kind of why we've done this video series talking about trading from home, is that I think many people make the mistake of just kind of doing everything. They're kind of trading from home and it's all mixed together, and it's very difficult then to have every single hat on. Whereas if you're trading, you want to be focused on trading the very best way you can. All right, guys, so separating spaces for trading, there's some tax benefits to look into for that, and they're also you know, there's also the actual operational benefit of not having a kind of distractions and just being able to get yourself clearly in the zone. I promise you that if you haven't done it, try it out. Because like I say, you can do it cheaply, even if you haven't got the space. I recognize a lot of people, you know, who haven't got the space out there, and do it and see how you get on. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.